Grant Hakinho, stop scratching that soft belly of yours and pay attention. Have you seen a video on TikTok of a skinny guy doing 100 push-ups a day? He got excited for 3 seconds and thought, now it's going to happen. Spoiler, it won't happen. If you continue to be this disassembled, worthless man, Hulk will speak slowly because you've already abused the Wi-Fi and not your brain. Every day a guy just like you shows up asking, Hulk, does 100 push-ups a day work? What's the point of this creature? To become a man? To increase testosterone? Or is it just to post sweaty stories pretending to be disciplined while remaining weak inside? Because let Hulk tell you the truth, which hurts more than a badly done push-up. The problem isn't the flexion, the problem is you. You expect miracles from the body of someone who sleeps 5 hours, eats bread with margarine, lives stressed out, with cortisol levels through the roof and testosterone crying in the corner like a wet chick, and you think 100 push-ups are going to fix this hormonal chaos? Stop. Respect science, little Hulk. Push-ups are a basic exercise. Good, classic, functional. But when you turn that into a magic ritual, then you become that guy who thinks whey protein is a potion and creatine is a Hogwarts spell. Let's get to the real problem, because Hulk doesn't mince words. You live in a body that no longer responds. You're training without making progress. You get tired easily. You lack consistency. And worse, you're mistaken. Do you know why? Because your body is in a hormonal waste environment. Too much stress, too much cheap stimulus, poco sono, little real strength. High cortisol, my little Huck, is like acid thrown on top of your testosterone. It melts everything. You wake up tired, train without energy, and still think the problem is genetics. Genetics is the preferred excuse of lazy men. That's where the 100 push-up challenge comes in. It's appealing because it's simple. Too simple for a weak brain to resist. Just push-ups, every day, without thinking. It's the dream of a guy who hates planning, hates real discipline, but loves shortcuts. And here Hulk is going to give you a metaphorical slap in the face. Training every day without a strategy isn't discipline. It's organized stupidity. Your body needs stimulation, recovery, and progression. Push-ups every day can become just another noise in your nervous system, like a cell phone notification. At first, it's scary. Then, you ignore it. And when you ignore the stimulus, you don't grow. Not even muscle, not even strength, not even testosterone. Worse, the overly enthusiastic Hulk starts doing push-ups with the posture of a run-over shrimp. Shoulders forward, lower back slumped, ego inflated. The result? Pain, injury, giving up, failure. And then comes the classic, Hulk, I tried it and it didn't work. It didn't work because you tried like a Huck, not like a man. Push-ups are a tool, not a religion. When you do 100 push-ups a day without volume control, without rest, without progression, you're only teaching your body to survive, not to evolve. And surviving is a rat's job. Man wants to control his own body. So record this now before continuing with this video. 100 push-ups a day isn't the problem. The problem is using that as an excuse not to organize sleep, training, rest, and discipline. In the next chapter, Hulk will do what no one else does. I'll explain it to you, what really happens in your body when you do 100 push-ups every day like a desperate person, and when it helps or destroys you. Stay there, breathe, and stop thinking that sweat without intelligence equals merit. Now sit up straight, little Hulk, because Hulk is going to open the hood of your body and show you the rusty machine you call a physique. When you do 100 push-ups a day, the first thing that happens isn't muscle growth. It's your nervous system communicating. Okay, another stressful situation. I'll try to survive. Yes, to survive. Because the body doesn't think about shape. It thinks about not to die. At first you feel a pump, you feel a little sore, you post sweaty stories and think you've become a warrior. That's just basic neural adaptation. Your body is learning to repeat a pattern, nothing heroic. Even lab rats learn. The problem starts when you don't understand volume, intensity, and recovery. 100 push-ups a day seems like a lot for a sedentary Hulk, but for the body, it becomes repetitive and predictable stimulation. It's like listening to the same boring song every day. At first, it's irritating, then it becomes noise, and when stimulus becomes noise, there is no growth. Now comes the part that hurts the ego. Flexion primarily works pectoral, triceps and anterior deltoid, with a relatively low load. If you don't increase the difficulty, don't add variation, don't progress, your body goes into economy mode. Economy mode means, I'm not going to waste my testosterone here. I'm not going to build new muscle. I'll just keep it. And maintaining Huk and Ho is the opposite of evolving. Now let's talk about hormones, because Hulk doesn't shy away from science. Training every day without adequate rest increases cortisol. Cortisol is that stress hormone that loves to appear when you sleep poorly, eat poorly, and train like a persistent idiot. What does high cortisol do? It competes directly with testosterone. It's like two guys fighting over the same parking spot. If cortisol wins, testosterone leaves crying. Result: low libido, low energy, slow recovery, stagnant force. But the Hulk doesn't connect the dots. He only thinks, I'm going to do more push-ups. That's where another classic mistake comes in: frequency without recovery. Muscle doesn't grow during training. It grows during rest. Push-ups every day can be used strategically, but the way the average person does them is mild, continuous hormonal suicide. And it doesn't stop there. Your body also adapts mechanically. If you always use the same angle, cadence, and range of motion, the muscle learns to conserve energy. It becomes a civil servant. It does the bare minimum. Want to know why you're not getting in shape? Because you train like someone who clocks in, not like someone who seeks progress. Now Hulk is going to shatter a popular misconception. Push-ups aren't a bad exercise. What's bad is using push-ups as a psychological crutch. She won't let you down. She's going to leave you. Limited, if that's the only thing. You create a body that's good at pushing your own weight and terrible at everything else. Weak back, non-existent hamstrings, relaxed core, a house of cards for muscles. And then you start walking with your shoulders hunched, with the posture of a defeated Hulk, breathing poorly. You think it's genetics. It's not. It's incomplete training. And you know what's worse? The brain begins to associate minimal effort with maximum merit. Look how disciplined I am. It's not discipline, it's empty routine. True discipline involves strategy, not blind repetition. So remember this now, before you continue fooling yourself. Doing 100 push-ups a day only works if it's part of a system. On their own, they only feed Hulk's ego and the Instagram algorithm. In the next chapter, Hulk will show you when this challenge might work. How to adjust, how to use push-ups without becoming a persistent idiot, and how to transform that into a tool for men, not a toy for the Hulk. It doesn't come out. The good part starts now. Now pay attention, little Hulk, because here Hulk separates the men from the persistent idiots. Try 100 push-ups a day might work, but not in the dumb way the internet portrays it. It's not a miracle. It's not a magic challenge. And that's no excuse to remain weak for the rest of your life. It works when you understand the role of flexion and don't turn it into a TikTok cult. The first thing you need to get into your head is, push-ups are not a complete workout. They are a tool. A tool is for solving a specific problem. A hammer doesn't build a house by itself, Huck, and push-ups don't build a man by themselves. When does this challenge work? When it is used as supplementary volume, not as the center of their pathetic existence. A practical example, because Hulk doesn't speak in abstract terms. If you already do strength training 3 or 4 times a week, get decent sleep, and don't live on sugar and pornography, adding push-ups can improve things. Muscular endurance, coordination, mind-muscle connection, basic discipline. Now that makes sense. But the average Huck wants to use push-ups as replacement for everything. Replace serious training. Replace the diet. It replaces rest. replaces responsibility. And that's not discipline, that's escapism. Now let's talk about how to, because most people make big mistakes here. 100 push-ups in a row. Only if you're a primate desperate for validation. The least idiotic way is to fractionate. 10 sets of 10, 20 sets of 5, or throughout the day with quality. Why? Because quality generates better motivation than an inflated ego. A poorly executed push-up with your elbows splayed out like a run-over chicken only destroys your shoulder and builds nothing. Hulk doesn't want to see you become an orthopedic statistic. Now comes the part that separates man from Huck: progression. If you do 100 push-ups a day for 30 days in the same way, your body learns. Then ignore it. Then park. Progression means making the exercise more difficult. Pause in the background. Time under tension. Foot elevation. Arches flexion, explosive push-up. If there is no progress, there is no evolution. There is only mediocre maintenance. Another critical point: intelligent frequency. All day, perhaps, but only if the total volume of your training allows it. If you already train your chest hard, your triceps hard, and still do push-ups every single day, you're not disciplined. You're a glutton who hates rest. Rest is not weakness. Rest is when the body builds muscle and testosterone. Hulk needs to repeat this because his brain is stubborn. Muscle grows outside of training. Now let's talk about real discipline, not this cheap motivational fantasy. The biggest benefit of the 100 push-up challenge isn't physical, it's mental. He teaches consistency. It creates identity. It shows that you can accomplish something simple every day. But it only works if you stop thinking you're special for doing the bare minimum. Doing push-ups every day doesn't make you strong. It makes you feel consistent again. And consistency is just the first step. The problem is that Huck thinks the first step is already the top of the mountain. It is not. Flexion, when used properly, is like brushing the teeth of discipline. Necessary, basic. But if you only brush your teeth and never shower, you'll still stink. And here Hulk is going to give you the hardest truth yet. If you're using this challenge because you're afraid of the gym, afraid of weights, afraid of failure, so the problem isn't flexion, it's cowardice disguised as minimalism. A real man faces progressive discomfort. Face the burden, face your limits, and it doesn't hide behind a cute challenge. In the next chapter, Hulk will close with the part you avoid the most. What truly transforms this challenge into something useful, how to fit this into a man's routine, and how to go from functional Huck to respectable Huck. It doesn't come out. Now is where the mask falls. The fun's over, little Hulk. The time has come for the final verdict. Without sugarcoating, without Nutella motivation, and without Instagram coach-style phrases. The challenge of doing 100 push-ups a day isn't going to save you. He's not going to wake up his testosterone on his own. It won't fix your posture. It won't automatically give you self-respect. If that's what you were expecting, you can close the video and go back to the couch. Hulk doesn't speak to those looking for emotional shortcuts. But if you use this tool correctly, it can be a transformation trigger, not the final destination. And here is the truth that separates men from eternal Hucks. Flexibility doesn't create masculinity. Masculinity creates flexion. You don't become disciplined by doing push-ups. You do push-ups because you've decided to be disciplined. The mistake most people make is reversing this order. They want habit to build character. That's not how it works. Character comes first, then comes habit, then comes the physical aspect. Now Hulk is going to summarize everything you need to tattoo on your forehead, because repetition is necessary when talking to a stubborn person. First, 100 push-ups a day. They work if they are part of a system. Structured training. I'm decent. Food for men, not for spoiled children. Without it, it's just pretty sweat running down a weak body. Second, doing push-ups every day without progression is mediocre maintenance. You don't grow up. You don't evolve. You're just taking up space. Third, rest is not laziness. It's under construction. Those who demonize rest are usually tired, irritable, and hormonally broken. And fourth, Most importantly, physical challenge doesn't compensate for a disorganized life. You can do 1,000 push-ups a day. If you sleep poorly, live stressed, eat junk food, and spend the whole day draining cheap dopamine, your body will continue operating in survival mode. Now pay attention to this image, because Hulk likes visual metaphors. You are a company. Flexion is a tool. Sleep is the manager. Food is the fuel. Real training is the strategic plan. If the manager is incompetent, the fuel is garbage, and there's no plan, no tool will solve the problem. But Huk prefers to buy a new hammer every month, thinking that this will save the bankrupt company. Now comes the part that hurts the ego, but liberates. If you are a beginner, weak, sedentary, and lack discipline, the challenge can be useful as front door. He creates a routine, create commitment, create an initial identity. But you can't live at the front door. Man enters and walks forward. If after 30 days you're still just doing push-ups and calling it a lifestyle, you haven't progressed. You've proudly stagnated, and pride is the silent enemy of male evolution. Hulk doesn't want to discourage you. Hulk wants to wake you up. You don't need another viral challenge. You need structure. You need progression. You need to stop negotiating with your own laziness. The challenge isn't doing 100 push-ups. The challenge is stop being inconsistent. Stop starting with enthusiasm and then abandoning it as always. Stop lying to yourself. Push-ups are just the initial test. The real question is another one. You manage to do the basics every day, even when nobody's looking. If so, you don't need Hulk. You're already on the right track. If not, then stop looking for a miracle solution and start with the obvious. Less excuses, more responsibility, more consistency. Hulk concludes and engraves this in your weary brain. Challenges don't turn Hulk into men. Decision transforms, discipline sustains, and the body simply obeys. Now get up, close the app after watching this video, and he acts like someone who respects himself. The end.